Well, hello there guys. I'm doing a little review here on a game called Distrust. I really want to thank the developers of the game for giving it to me. Distrust is basically based off The Thing. If you've seen the movie or read the book, Things That Come Here. I actually can't remember the name of the book, or Here They Come. And it's also got a lot of elements of Lovecraftian novels, especially those that have to do with, sort of these far-off places, these distant lands, and the ice. There are several Lovecraftian books that really sort of focus on that element, and also anomalies that also appear in novels like that, these sort of films, and really just a fascinating game. So, obviously in the game, you see the snowy setting. You can almost tell that this is going to be an icy game, and it is indeed. So, to start a new game, of course, you click here. We have a saved game. Starting a new game will delete. Yes, I want to start a new game just for you guys. So, you've got two different difficulty settings. You've got Trial, and this mode essentially gives you the achievements and allows you to unlock all the characters in the game. It's got a secret ending, and you don't know what type of building, the building that you enter, you're not sure what it is until the survivors get into it. And basically what that means, you'll see once I start playing, but basically in this game, each level is randomized. No matter how many times, if you start a new game, it's going to be randomized. And this is very important because ultimately, as you're playing the game, you want to find elements to get out of one zone into another, and also elements to survive. For those of you that are beginners, I probably suggest you do Adventure, but we're going to go ahead and jump into Trial, and we're going to start a new game. So I've only unlocked 4 characters so far. Casper Jackson, Irma Dillinger, James Abrams, and Olaf Henderson, and these first 3 you get anyway. So I'm actually going to be starting with Casper Jackson, and I'm going to be taking my favorite character so far, Olaf Haraldson, and we're going to go into the wastes, my friends, the icy wastes. So apparently we're on some sort of scientific journey in the Antarctic, and something has gone terribly wrong, and we need to escape. Alright, as you can see guys, the beginning of the game, you start off here near a burned down helicopter, and really your first job is to try and get into as many buildings as you can, and try and find a way out. You also have to keep furnaces alive and generators alive with fuel. As you can see, we've got a sack of coal here. One of our guys is looking through it, and you also have to look for clues on how to get out of the area. You've got to find food. You've also got to keep yourself warm as much as you can, and you've also got to rest incredibly. So you have to try to find a bed eventually and start resting. And really the goal of the game, we're right here, is to get to this door, find out what the goal is to get out of this zone, and ultimately make it to Zone 6. And the entire time that you're doing this, you're going to have these things called anomalies chasing you down and trying to end your life. And I'm not going to tell you much about the anomalies. You're going to have to experience them for yourself, because each one is different, obviously, and they all have different ways to be combated. So usually what I do to get into the next place, the green doors means we don't need a key to get in, but I always like to check this door first to make sure I know what I need to get out of the area. So that's exactly where we're headed. And actually take a look at the inventory here. Now, obviously, you want to get some fuel. We've got some fuel. You want to try to get as much food as you can. We've also got some extra fuel with the actual coal, but this is for the furnace, and this is for the generators. I'm going to give this guy a light jacket just because he happens to be first, and I want these guys to run here as quickly as possible. But you can actually already see the edges of the screen are almost icing up, and I really love that effect. It's creepy, and at the same time, it makes you realize that how cold your guys are. So you can see that this guy's losing warmth. We're going quite a distance. He's also losing stamina and satiety. Satiety is basically being hungry, in a manner of speaking. Okay, find lever 4 and examine it. That's our job. And honestly, guys, every single time you play, there's going to be a different set of tasks. You can rotate the camera with Q and E, and that's definitely important. You also want to check to make sure the doors aren't sealed. Ultimately, you're going to have to find something to open the doors, whether that's a crowbar, a key, or something else. That's really entirely up to you, and it's totally part of the game to try and escape and find all of the locations, because you're going to want to try and take as much as you can with you into the next zone. Now, in terms of warmth, you can see both of our guys are really cold. They need to find a place with a generator, with some fire, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and move this guy in. Once they get in here, as long as there's a fire, we should be warming up. It's exactly what's happening. And you can also find tools to, for instance, break down areas. And what's this blocked boiler room door? Well, I'm going to try to dig our way out. And since we're using this character right here, I think we automatically get to dig a shovel. We get an automatic shovel, so that's one of the benefits of unlocking characters. They each sort of have a special ability if you unlock them. When you start off, you need to find all that stuff, so we're very lucky to have found a shovel. And obviously, first aid is very important. So we're going to go ahead here, search the first aid cabinet, and try and get some old pills, apparently. So basically the pills are used for food poisoning, which is very easy to happen in this game if you don't cook food. And it's very easy not to cook food, because you'll find yourselves in situations where you are starving, and where you have no choice. And apparently, due to this character, I think we also have the ability to get an axe. Let's see what's in this door. And we've got some beds, guys. This is a great thing, because now that we know where the bed is, we can essentially rest here whenever we need to refill our stamina. And if you lose stamina, or if you get very hungry, you will eventually die. That's just the way the game is. And now, of course, we want to move on to another building. But this game incorporates so many different things, and really, you know, one of those things is just the survival aspect, which I think makes games really entertaining. Another thing that incorporates is the terror and fear of a lot of sort of horror games that you might play. Now, it's not in-your-face terror, but it's creepy, Lovecraftian terror, where you just realize that you're a tiny speck on this huge earth, and all you can do is survive. That's really your only goal. You'll also find journal entries, all sorts of things like that, as you go through the game. Now, unfortunately, for this boiler room door, we do not have a way to get in. We're going to try to find one by searching these areas, and you want to try to use both characters at once. We've got a message here in this bookcase. Those creatures are man-eaters. People are going to sleep and never waking up. We're trying to stay awake. I hope it keeps us safe. So once again, you get some very cryptic messages, and they all sort of share a story, but it's up to you to figure out what that story is. And generally speaking, the story can be quite different because the levels are always different, and I just think that's an awesome thing. And look at that, we found a candy bar. When one of our guys gets hungry, we'll be able to go back and grab that. For now, though, I think you guys know what we have to do. We've got to keep looking, because we need to find something to open that door and get into the boiler room. A lot of the times, your mission goal will be completely, you know, focused on finding one particular item. In this case, we just need to find lever 4, and maybe getting to lever 4 requires us to possibly lockpick it, get a key, or break it down. So let's go in here. Alright, guys. Got a gas can on the shelf, we might as well take it. Always make sure you're not over-encumbered, but generally, so far, I haven't really been over-encumbered. In fact, quite the opposite. I've needed more and more items to survive. And depending on the level, like I said, it's always going to be different. I've had levels where you only have one place to sleep. In this one, we have 2, and that's actually a huge advantage. We also got some cigarettes, and the cigarettes are used, I believe, to increase stamina. Sorry, decrease stamina, but increase satiety for some reason. I could be wrong. We'll actually take a look here. Each thing has an effect. So for the cigarettes, old habits die hard, especially bad ones. This will enhance someone's mood. Okay, so it's going to enhance their mood. And yes, people, I guess, I haven't actually experienced it yet, but I think from so far what I've been playing, that guys can go crazy, and that's why you have the name Distrust. You, just like in The Thing, you've got to be careful who's around you. You can't trust everybody. So each cabin location is completely randomized in this game, guys, which is something I really love. And, you know, you have some Let's Plays where you'll actually play through and you won't find much, and some where you'll find a ton of stuff. In this area, for instance, we got some soup, which is pretty good, but if we don't have a stove to cook it in, we're probably just going to keep it in our pack for the next zone, and that's if you make it to the next zone. Each zone has their own separate anomalies, and each anomaly is pretty tough. As you can see, we've gone through all of the open doors, so if we don't find something to open the locked doors in this area, we're going to be in trouble. But I'm almost certain there is going to be something for us to open the other doors in one way or another. The game really tries to sort of help you along by giving you important items, but you need to look for those items, and if you're running through the snow, you often run out of time to do that. As you can see, our stamina is already going down. That's something very important in the game. We're going to touch on that very soon, and you'll see what we have to do to regain it and what happens when we do. As you can see, we're making these guys run across the entire map, and their warmth is not horrible, but you'll find yourselves in situations where you have to run from one place to another to gather something, and that warmth will become an issue. As you can see, I'm guessing that our first guy is going to actually warm up a little slower than our second because he doesn't have a jacket, or vice versa, I should say. let's go ahead. So you can also craft things, and that's another thing. So crafting is a part of this game. If we wanted to, we could try to craft some interesting items. It doesn't seem that we have the tools necessary to actually craft them, so for now, we're just going to search this place. Got a first aid kit. So many valuable items in this game that you do or don't get depending on the playthrough, and for instance, that first aid kit is something I've actually never seen before, despite my time. So far, we're not finding anything to open those locked doors, and that's worrying me a bit. Maybe if we go to the file cabinet, let's actually go ahead and take a look at these cabinets, and there's a toolbox here. This toolbox could be the gateway to salvation for us to get out of this area, and look at that, we got a sterile bandage. So in case we cut ourselves, which can happen in the game in various different ways, I'm not going to tell you how, because once again, I wanted you to experience it for yourself, and it's not always a terrifying monster. Sometimes, you know, it's opening a can, for instance. As you can see, this is just telling us about an anomaly that exists here. So we're getting more and more information about the possible issues we could be dealing with. And as you can see, your characters will sort of discuss the issue. It's all just very, very cool stuff. So we're going to take a look here, and I'm going to try to find a way to escape. Try to open one of those locked doors. I'm hoping we have a way of opening those locked doors. I think we went through this first aid cabinet, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's go ahead and check it out. And there's one more room here. This might have what we need, hopefully. Let's take a look. There's a note written on the desk. We'll go ahead and let you guys read that if you want. It's sort of tips to survive, but sometimes you get some pretty scary stories, which kind of creep you out. A little different from the tips to survive, honestly. Take a look here, and let's go to another location. At this point, we've got to get some sleep. So we're going to head back here, no matter how much we hate it, and we're going to try and get some sleep. So let's run back and rest. All right, so our guys got to nap a little bit. We're going to go ahead and move them in. Get over here to the sofa and the bed and get some rest. And I wonder what happens. Let's go ahead and rest here a bit. Obviously, we're going to fix our stamina issue, but our guys are also hungry. So we can't just think about stamina. We've also got to think about satiety. Now, look at these weird orbs popping up around us. And this could possibly bring on one of the anomalies we spoke of. I'm not going to give away the secret, but those anomalies appear at certain moments, and you need to kind of discover what those moments are. That's when you're in serious trouble. You could always cancel out of sleep like we just did there. As you can see, he's got a stamina problem still. I'm actually going to give this guy a bar of protein, and you'll see what happens when we give it to him. Once we close this window, he goes ahead and consumes it and sort of refills a little bit of the satiety. I'm guessing a snack bar is not going to actually refill much, but you never know until you try. Let me see if we can go ahead and break into this place. And yes, we can. We've got that lockpick. So we're going to get into this tiny room. Oh boy. An anomaly is nearby. Here we go, guys. I told you the anomalies would show up. We're going to open this door, but I think our second guy is in trouble. Yes, that is an anomaly. And I told you every anomaly is different. Now this one, I happen to know, has a certain weakness. And I'm not going to tell you what the weakness is, but you'll probably figure it out here pretty quickly. And as you can see, the weakness is light. Said I wouldn't say anything, but I lied. And as you can see, to get rid of the anomaly, we have to chase it with light. Now, you can actually see the health decreasing. You could choose to kill it, or maybe just choose to get away, depending on how you want to approach this. But now we've got to check out these areas and hopefully make sure that we're okay. As you can see, this anomaly is affecting us really badly. We've got to do something to destroy it. So I'm going to keep following this guy. Come on. Just have to basically scare the anomaly away. And hopefully we can get into these other locked doors. Like I said, every map is different. And this one is a really weird one. Because usually you don't have to deal with so many tiny rooms. Like, you know, so far I've had like these big cabins. This map is full of tiny rooms. But that's part of the game that I love. You know, everything is different. So every time you play, your experience is going to be different. In short, I would absolutely recommend Distrust. It's fun. You know, it's an enjoyable game. It's challenging for sure. I've died many times in this game, and I'm probably about to do that right now because our guys are getting very cold. But in general, I just think it's extremely entertaining. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate that you subscribe to this channel, that you hit that like button, and comment down below. It really helps us. and I'm trying to get as many viewers as we can here. We're a strategy channel, but we can try just about any game that you guys want us to play. And if you guys want us to play Distrust, I can absolutely accommodate that for you guys. And look at that, we've got an issue here. Unfortunately, we broke our lockpick, so I better find something else to open those locked doors. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a great day, and ciao.